So let's get right into it. What I'm showing you here are some really great exercises that are simple, you can do at home. Here I'm just interlacing my hand in between my toes, and I'm doing some really easy flexion and extension of my toes just to start to open up the bottom of the foot, which we call the plantar surface, to give some stretch and pliability. Like that. As I'm continuing to warm up the feet, I'm going to keep that same position with my hand, but really start doing some nice, easy, slow ankle rotations. I would do about 10 to 15 in one direction and then repeat going the other direction. Remember to really let your foot relax, let your hand do the movement so you can get a nice full range of motion. Rolling your foot on a ball is one of the easiest and best ways to increase the health of your feet. It releases the tissue on the bottom of the feet. It is great for tight or tense areas, even plantar fasciitis if that's something you're suffering from. Sorry about my dog. It's her tennis ball. So if you have something like a tennis ball, that's what I would start out with if you've never done this before. Then you could gradually move up to a lacrosse ball or even a golf ball. People who have issues with inflammation on the bottom of their feet find it really relieving to roll their foot on a frozen water bottle. It helps to decrease some of that inflammation. Keep a ball like this under your desk if you are sitting a lot during the day at work, and kick your shoes off and spend a few minutes on each foot. Your body, your entire body will thank you. Once you've warmed up the feet, then I want you to stand up and just practice shifting your body weight forward and backward. This is called foot rocking. So I'm basically moving my body weight from the balls of my feet back into my heels, and then from the sides of my feet back and forth. So take your time. There's no real way to do this. You can't mess it up, but just spend some time upright, moving forward and backward and side to side. So now I'm showing you some really simple, easy knee bends, about 3, maybe 4 inches. I want you to imagine you're standing with your back against a wall and you're just sliding down the wall, keeping your chest upright and watching where your knees track. Do they go towards your toes? Do they flail out? The goal is to start to get the knees to track right over the toes. This, in the long term, will help you with the way that you walk and can alleviate knee or even hip pain in the future. Next, I want you to practice just some really simple plantar flexion, or rising up onto your toes or the ball of your foot. Make sure that you're doing this barefoot and you have this piece down before you continue on to the next exercise. Now we start to put some of these movements together. This is called the foot rock and roll. And basically you're going to come up onto your toes, holding that position, slowly bend your knees, drop your heels to the floor, knees are still bent, and then stand up straight. And then I want you to repeat that. Up onto your toes, easy, gentle bend of your knees, dropping your heels down to the floor, and standing back up. Remember to take your time through each movement. Be very methodical. And again, make sure you're barefoot. We're going to do that same thing going in the opposite direction. So now we bend the knees, lift up on the toes, stand all the way up, and drop the heels. Bend the knees, lifting up onto the toes, standing all the way up, and dropping the heels. The last exercise is simply sitting back onto your heels, allowing your toes to flex. This is not an easy exercise to do. especially if you're not used to the flexion and extension of your toes. So take your time. You might not be able to sit back as far. You might find that you can sit back further the more you work on this. But then from that position, I want you to go up into a downward facing dog. And going back and forth 10 to 15 times each day can really make a difference in the health of your feet.